Parkside Elementary School Data Overview, MIlestone Scores by Maria Cantu-Hibron. I'm going to talk about Parkside Elementary School MIlestone Scores over the last 4 years in a timeline. The intended audience is going to be the leadership team and the teachers during the PLC. The purpose of the data overview is to analyze Parkside Elementary School scores data over a 4 years timeline, examine students' achievement on the Georgia Milestone test, compare the scores to identify the subject or subjects with the higher scores, either ELA, Math, Science, or Social Studies, identify the levels of proficiency, either beginning, developing, proficient, and distinguished, identify the possible causes of a student achievement gap. This is the data from the state of Georgia. This is the data from the compensatory programs. We can see the majority of the group is in early intervention, K-5. This is a graph that shows you the program the Atlanta Public School has, and the highest is the remedial education 6 to 8, followed by the vocational labs. This is the Parkside Elementary School data by ethnicity or race and by socioeconomic level. You can see on the data here, the 75% of the students are Black, 15% of the students are white, 7% of the students are Hispanic, and 3% of the students are multiracial, while 100% of our population is free or reduced price on the lunch. This is the compensatory programs that we have at Parkside Elementary School. We have a huge number on our early intervention or IEP in all the grades from K through 5th, followed by the special education program. The gifted K to 12 is a little higher, and we almost don't have ESOL or English learners. The percentage was very low. This is the percentage of data and absences. I believe that this achievement gap could be caused by the absences. We see the numbers over here. The absences from 5 days and fewer is about the same. It went to 62% and stopped in 55.9, which is still a little high. If we think about students missing classes, how are they going to catch up? This is by number, students by number. This is the number 353. We went from 403 for 353, missing less than 5 days. Once again, Parkside has a problem. We are trying to give a review to the students who have 0 absences. I'm going to talk about the teachers' data about the certificate level. The majority of our teachers at Parkside Elementary School are level 5 or master degree level, followed by bachelor's degree, and the third place is the specialist degree. We have 1 or 2 doctor's degree at Parkside Elementary School. Then we see the teachers' data by the race, and most of our teachers over the years have been African American or Black. Few of the teachers are white, and the percentage of Hispanic is very low. It went from 3 teachers to 1, just me. This is once again by the experience, the teacher experience, and we see that most of our teachers are between 10 to 20 years of experience, followed by 1 to 10. I'm going to talk about the Parkside Elementary School Performance Report, the CCRPI, and we see that Parkside Elementary School is behind or lower than the district APS and lower than the state over the years. We're going to talk about the percentage of retained students at Parkside Elementary School. Over the years, we see that a female population has a higher rate of retention, between 62 to 60% over the years. Now I'm going to talk about the Lexile percentage. Third grade reading at or above level. And we can see that Parkside Elementary School is still behind the district APS and behind the state of Georgia in reading in grade 3. Same thing in grade 5. The difference is that grade 5 we went from 70% down to 52 and a little up to 66, still behind the district and the state of Georgia. I'm going to talk about the MIlestone English Language Art, the levels of proficiency. And we can see the Parkside Elementary School consistently has a lot of population at the beginning level, followed by developing. Few of the students, or less than the state and less than the district, are proficient. And almost half of the students are distinguished. Is 4.5 versus 10%. Is half of it. In mathematics, we see the same thing. We have most of our students on the beginning level, followed by developing. We have a lot of students in developing, and we have about 1/3 of the population in distinguished versus the district and the state of Georgia. We're so behind. Next score is the milestone in science, and we can see that our population is still consistent on beginning. Developing is a little about the same as the state of Georgia, but our distinguished population is 1/4 of the state of Georgia and 1/4 of the district. Next is social studies. Social studies is about the same. The difference right here is we have almost 50% of the students in the developing, and almost half of our students are on the distinguished. We need to somehow move the students to proficient or distinguished. We can see over here the data in English, language art, math, and science. And we can see that is consistent in 2016 to 2017. ELA is high, math is high, ELA and ELA once again. 2015, 2016, ELA is consistently high. 2014, 2015, we see a change on science is the highest, followed by math, math, and math. Somehow our students were a little higher in 2015, 2016 in science and math, and we need to work with those areas. This data is from Georgia, and we see that most of the students over the years are in EIP, means early intervention programs. This is the data, the graph with the enrollment programs. We can see the majority of the APS students are in vocational labs, followed by the alternative programs K-12. This is the data by race, and we can see that most of the students are APS are Black students. Well, according to the data, the state of Georgia has more white students than Black, but APS has a higher population of Black students. This is the graph that shows you the state of Georgia. The highest is white students, followed by Black. Over here you see Hispanic and multiracial. We don't have Native American students. This is the Georgia. We can see the special programs. Okay, now we're going to talk about the enrollment data. We can see that 4th, 5th, and 3rd, 4th, and 5th grade are a little higher in 2014, 2015, and went a little up and then down again. This is a Parkside Elementary School. We have 100% reduced, socioeconomical reduce of free lunch. We have students with disability is the number 2 on percentages, followed by English learners. You can see over here, the majority of our students are Black, African American, followed by white, and few Hispanic. This is our data. Parkside Elementary School is mostly Black, followed by white, and the difference is a huge difference between Black and the rest of the races. We can see that 100%, we are 100% lunch. We went from 70 something to 100%. We have been about the same with students with disability and English learners. Attendance data, we can see that attendance is a problem for Parkside Elementary School. We need to work with attendance. Strengths at Parkside Elementary School, we can say that Parkside Elementary School overall performance is higher than 6% of the schools in the state of Georgia and is lower than the district APS. Its students' academic growth is higher than 7% of the schools in the state of Georgia and lower than the district APS. 37.9% of his third grade students are reading R or above the grade level. The weakness is, according to the data, I could see the MIlestone Scores and English Language Art, where we have a lot of students in the beginning proficiency level than the district and the state of Georgia. Parkside Elementary School has less than half of the students of the state of Georgia in the distinguished level. We need to work on that. MIlestone, we see the same thing. Like I did say before, we need to work on the MIlestone English Language Art, Math, Science, and Social Studies, very specifically in the area of English Language Art. The discussion questions are: what surprised you about the data? What impact Parkside Elementary School attendance show on the MIlestone test scores? What is the area that we need to work on? How can we formulate a plan to improve student attendance to improve low student achievement? How the lack of technology, device, digital equity affect MIlestone scores? How can we use technology to provide the content when a student is absent to school? How can we use the data to improve the MIlestone scores? What is next? Focusing on causes that are under your control. We're gonna talk about what can make some inferences about why the majority of students at Parkside Elementary School do not perform at preceding or exceeding proficiency levels on the state standardized test. So we're gonna take some moments, some time to brainstorm and come with some ideas why our students at Parkside Elementary School do not perform are exceeding or high proficiency levels. Thank you for the presentation. This is Maria Cantu-Hibron, and I'm looking for you. If you have any questions, you can contact me.